So I picked this one up during free comic book day at my local shop. It's called The Nice House on the Lake, and honestly, the premise hooked me pretty quick. Here's the basic synopsis. 10 people are invited to a beautiful lake house by their friend Walter, only to discover he orchestrated the apocalypse and trapped them inside this weird paradise prison while the rest of the world burns. Psychological horror, survival, human nature, alien weirdness, all that fun stuff. And after reading the first issue, yeah, that's pretty much the vibe. The issue I got seems to be the setup issue for the whole series. It opens with the main character Ryan in full apocalypse mode, head bandaged up, carrying a spear, travel bag nearby, basically looking like she's been through absolute hell already while narrating how all this started. Then we flash back. At first it feels like Ryan is on a date with this guy Walter at some nearly empty bar. And look, maybe it's sexist of me to assume a guy and a girl hanging out alone means romantic tension, but come on, media has trained us for this. Turns out I was at least partially right because Walter eventually admits he had feelings for her. Now here's where the red flags start stacking like Lego blocks. Their bonding activity is discussing how the world might end, which, to be fair, if someone starts talking apocalypse scenarios on a first date, most sane people leave immediately. Meanwhile, I'm over here like, okay, but if she stays and continues the conversation, green flag. They keep talking over texts and emails afterward, discussing extinction events, societal collapse, all that cheerful stuff. Ryan seems weirdly into it too, because apparently getting drunk and Netflix and chilling while talking about humanity dying counts as research. Honestly, respect the commitment to the bit. But eventually the conversations stop. Then Ryan gets an email from Walter inviting her to a lake house in Wisconsin for a week during the summer. And this is where the horror setup really kicks in. Ryan arrives at this gigantic house on the lake with this weird symbol near the staircase leading up to it. Real rich cult leader Airbnb energy. Then we start meeting the rest of the guests. And this comic wastes absolutely zero time throwing character info at you. Every single character gets this little data box showing their age, gender, profession, and how Walter met them. Each one also gets assigned a symbol tied to their personality or profession or whatever. Honestly, it's a little annoying at first because it feels like the comic is speedrunning introductions, but at the same time, I kind of get why they did it. There are a lot of characters here, and this is clearly one of those stories where not everyone's making it to the credits. So instead of wasting 6 issues awkwardly forcing exposition dialogue between people who already know each other, the comic just dumps the information immediately and moves on. Efficient? Yes. Subtle? Absolutely not. One of the first guests we meet is Nora Jacobs, the writer character, who I'm pretty sure exists partially to remind the audience how progressive modern comics are. And since this came out in 2021, we also get a nice little reminder of the COVID era. They're using forehead scanners before entering the house, because apparently even during the apocalypse, we still gotta make sure nobody tests positive before the alien death cult barbecue starts. Then everybody walks inside and acts disgusted by how luxurious the place is. Like, oh no, hardwood floors, lakefront property, giant kitchen, the horror. The introductions continue as we meet the rest of the group, including Sarah Radnitz from the Democratic National Committee. Walter really looked at the apocalypse and said, you know what this survival scenario needs? Political staffers. Absolute madman. Eventually, Walter shows up carrying groceries and announces he's making steaks. Walter, buddy, you gathered the most aggressively progressive blue sky-coated people imaginable into one house and offered them red meat. I'm surprised nobody tackled him and demanded ethically sourced kale chips. Anyway, the comic keeps layering in more weirdness through emails and Walter's notes. Dude apparently sent one of these messages at like 3:46 in the morning, which means this man was absolutely sleep-deprived conspiracy boarding this entire operation together. One thing confused me though. Walter mentions there were supposed to be 12 people there. I counted 10 guests plus Walter. So either 2 people bailed at the last second, or I completely failed first-grade math. Both are possible. That night, everyone's relaxing near the pool when Ryan checks her phone, and suddenly the tone shifts hard. Social media is flooded with chaos. Fires, panic, people posting about the end of the world. Others asking if it's some kind of marketing stunt or movie promotion, which honestly is probably realistic at this point. The group rushes inside and turns on the TV, only to find the emergency broadcast system running. Everybody immediately starts trying to figure out how to leave, and then Ryan looks over at Walter. I guess the conversation is over. Cut to Walter standing there with this absolutely insane aura-farming grin. You picked. And that's when Walter drops the bombshell. He caused the apocalypse. He chose this group to save, and they are absolutely not allowed to leave the lake house. Naturally, the writer character decides the best course of action is immediate violence and swings a fire poker at Walter, except the poker slices through his face like he's some kind of hologram or smoke projection. Reality itself starts glitching around him. Everybody freaks out. Nora loses a hand in the chaos, and that's basically where the issue ends. Honestly, I like the premise a lot. I'd probably grab the next issue just to see where this goes because the situation feels genuinely hopeless. Walter seems like some kind of shape-shifting alien reality bender thing, and the group has basically no weapons, no supplies, and nowhere to run even if they escape. Because if the world actually ended, where exactly are you going to go? There's also the possibility that this is all some kind of psychological manipulation by an alien species. Like maybe the apocalypse itself is fake, and Walter is feeding information directly to Ryan's phone while isolating the group, which honestly might be even more disturbing. Either way, solid setup. The info dumps were a little rushed, but they at least made them stylistic and built them into Walter's notes instead of forcing awkward exposition dialogue. That helped a lot. Overall, cool premise, strong atmosphere, interesting mystery, and a genuinely unsettling ending. I'll probably pick up the next issue and see where the story goes from here. Did you guys grab this during Free Comic Book Day, or have you already read the full series? Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And if you want, I might start reviewing more comics on the channel because honestly, this was pretty fun. Thanks for watching. See you next time.